Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
November 21, 2020, the Wonder Woman edition. And we begin with that story from the Washington Post. As Warner Brothers finally wakes up to the fact that if you don't release a movie, you're not going to have any income, and have announced that Wonder Woman 1984 will arrive in theaters and HBO Max on Christmas, defying industry conventions for reasons completely unclear to me, and no doubt to their just simply putting their head in the sands. Most major studios have delayed release of several blockbusters, including No Time to Die, Black Widow, F9, and other major 2020 releases indefinitely due to the pandemic. Well, guys, the business model has changed, and it's changed forever. And I, for one, will be happy to I already have HBO Max, but if I didn't, I would get it to watch Wonder Woman. Think about that. Next up, from the Risk and Compliance Journal, Dylan Tokar reporting. He asks, will political polarization stop companies from supporting social causes? And his response, or what he found rather through his reporting, is basically no. It's not likely to go away. Employees are frankly sick and tired of companies not simply engaging in unethical behavior, but even standing on the sidelines. He cites to Erica Salmon-Byrne, an EVP at Ethisphere, who says that companies can no longer duck and cover. These broader trends are not going away, and compliance officers have a unique role in that process because they hold the keys to many of the speak-up components of a culture. So interesting article for the right-wingers out there. Corporations are not backing off from social justice cause, Black Lives Matters, diversity and inclusion. And if you don't want to purchase or use Google or other forward-thinking companies who think along those lines, you're going to have a tough time in the 2020s. Next up, a very long article in the Wall Street Journal about the father and son, Michael Taylor and Peter Taylor, who helped Carlos Ghosn escape from Japan. They are fighting extradition in, frankly, what will probably be a useless fight, as the State Department has agreed to extradition to Japan for them to hold, or rather stand trial for helping Ghosn escape. They interceded in federal district court, really with no legal basis for this. They claim that they will be actually physically tortured in Japan. A key ally of the U.S., it's hard to believe that the U.S. court would kind of agree to that, but given the low bar that people in the Trump administration now set for bringing suits and arguing in court, perhaps so. Nevertheless, they are still in lockup in Massachusetts. They also claim that jumping bail in Japan is not a crime, so that they can't be tried for it. So interesting approach there. And finally, Huawei's, or the extradition hearing, rather, against Huawei, former Huawei Chief Financial Officer Ming Wanzhou, continues in Canada. Huawei's lawyers are seeking to prove in a Canadian court that the investigation by Canada's border agency at the Vancouver International Airport resulted in an abusive process to try to get her extradited to the United States. Obviously, this was done at the behest of the United States. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.